Much love, and I'm Wayne Johnson with Doc and Queen Ministries. I'm going to share with you what the Lord had shared with me on last night. Again, it's one of those things that it just hit me, and I'm just excited to be able to share. Also want to just say thank the Lord for just being so good in my life, and I'm hoping and expecting that He's also been good in your life as well. So on last night, right before I was going to bed, I realized I had not studied on any scripture lessons, and so I was wondering where to start. I had did a couple of nights the whole book of Hosea, kind of studied that, read that, and studied that. Then the next night I did like maybe 3 chapters of Hosea, and then like last time I was like, where do I go? So I just said, let's just start off with Matthew. Let's just start right there at Matthew. So I had put Matthew up, went away for a little bit, and before I went back to Matthew, was led by something that I saw online, Genesis chapter 5. And so I went on and read Genesis chapter 5, and I want to show you the connection that was given to me. I have been doing many lessons on the two becoming one, oneness, and just learning this. And so I want to share. So I'm not going to read all of chapter 5, but the whole entire chapter of 5 is important for this. So when you get a chance, read it. But I'm only going to take 2 verses of it, and it's the history of Adam's family. That's the title of Genesis chapter 5 in the easy to read version. Going to read a couple of verses. This is the history of Adam's family. When God created people, He made them like Himself. He created them male and female. And on the same day He made them, He blessed them and called them humans. So the rest of Genesis chapter 5 talks about Adam and his son or sons, and then his sons, all the way down, making the generation go and telling them basically how long they lived, when they had that child, over and over and over again. And that's why I encourage you to read it. Some of the names can be difficult, but read it so you can see where I'm going with this. So now I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 1, because we were dealing with Adam. So Matthew chapter 1, easy to read version, title is The Family History of Jesus the Messiah. And I'm not going to read all of this, but I want to give you some context on it. And it starts out, this is the family history of Jesus the Messiah. He came from the family of David, who was from the family of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac. Isaac was the father of Jacob. Jacob was the father of Judah and his brothers. Judah was the father of Perez and Zerah. Their mother was Tamar. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. I'm going to stop there and then drop down to verse 5. That was verse 3. I'm going to drop down to verse 5, so I'm skipping 4. Solomon was the father of Boaz. His mother was Rahab. Boaz was the father of Obed. His mother was Ruth. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse was the father of King David. David was the father of Solomon. His mother had been Uriah's wife. Going to stop there. Now, the connection that God hooked me up with Matthew 1 and Genesis 5 is we always talk about the two becoming one. But as you see here, we use only the males. We use Jesus, we use Adam, but we didn't use Adam and Eve. And what I realized and what I understood and what was shared was when the two become one, they really take on the husband's name. And you see this in the scriptures. Now, the only time that you do see the wife is when it's something very important for the wife to be mentioned, like Tamar was, like Rahab was, like Ruth. That's Ruth that has her own book. These are the reasons why you don't see, and I think later on if you go down further, you will see Mary mentioned, the mother of Jesus. And the reason why that the wife is not mentioned, the mother not mentioned, is because she is the one within that husband. And so you just name the husband. Adam, you didn't have to name Eve because Eve and Adam are married and they are one. So, and I'm going back to Genesis chapter 5. They are one. So every time they name, they just name the male. See, the two become one. That wife comes up under that husband's name. Now, I had known this and seen this because God had delivered it to me some time back about the husband's name, the wife's name, and they come together. That's why you got the last name. They are that last name, the Johnsons. But in the scripture, they just use the first name of the husband, Adam. So even when we don't see the wife's name here, it is understood that she is here because the two are one. So she is in representation already because she's up under her husband. They are not what we call and say all the time. We say couples, but they're not couples. The two have become one. So they are no longer, they're not couples, they're one. They're one entity. So husband and wife are Adam. They're one entity. And so that was so important. Abraham is not Abraham and Sarah. They are Abraham. So this was huge for me because it used to kind of get in my mindset because as being married, I used to say, and we would have on our license plate, Doc's wife and Doc's lady and things like that. And it used to kind of like, is it all about me for real? But I see that was led because Doc was a nickname and we sometimes get renamed by God. And for me, doctor is more about helping people because that's what doctors do. They help others, especially others who are sick. So it used to be and started out as a kid as a basketball thing, but as I continued to age, it was really more about helping others. So when I had Doc's lady or Doc's wife, it was more of from God doing that because she comes up under me because I am the male. I am the husband. So that was huge for me. So what I want you to do is you take a look at Genesis chapter 5, the whole chapter, and Matthew chapter 1, the whole chapter, and see if that makes sense to you. It was mind-blowing. It was something that I knew I would never be able to reach on my own. But thanks be to God that if we sit sometimes and just allow Him to work in us. He will uncover things to us that we would never have been able to do on our own. I hope that this has helped. Take care. God bless. Much love, and continue to let God move you and direct you in your life.